Hi, this is Alexis with $1 Energy. We're excited to show you our newest solar installation with battery backup in the Clayton area. We expect this client to save between $150 and $200 a month off of their utility bill. They have this battery backup system in place in case of a power outage, so they're ready to ride out any North Carolina hurricane or ice storm in comfort. If you're interested, you can give us a call at 919-508-6907 or visit our website www.sundollarenergy.com.
Hey folks, Dan with $1 Energy here again. So I just want to talk a little bit about this particular inverter and the products and why I really like them and why I really think that they are the most reliable over time. So the SMA Sunny Island and the SMA Sunny Boy on the outside of the inverter, German manufacturer, German made and engineered inverters. They've been around for about the longest in the line of string inverters that's out there. These Sunny Island inverters, we have several of them in the field that have been working flawlessly for years. If you're doing your research on solar, you want to learn a little bit about it, you've probably seen a lot of products out there and a lot of latest and greatest stuff. There's the Tesla, there is the Solar Edge LG Chem. I really like this inverter for a number of reasons. Number one, its reliability. It's built to be an off-grid inverter. So some of those other inverters that we're talking about, you can't even start them up when they're completely off the grid. Some of those inverters, the technology is so sensitive that you've got little sensor wires going here and there and everywhere, and if one of those sensor wires breaks, it's down. So these are a little bit more solid and a little bit more easy to work with, like I said, the reliability is just there. There's less things that can go wrong with it. I think that's kind of the main thing, less things that can go wrong. So you've got your grid input coming in one, you've got your grid output coming in one, you got the battery connection, and then you've got a sensor wire so that the two inverters talk to each other, but it's just an Ethernet plug cord, so you're not splicing little wires or things like that. I've worked with a lot of other inverters over my time. You've maybe seen a couple of the videos. Like our YouTube page, please. But on the other ones, you've probably seen, we've done the Magnum, we've done the Outback inverters, we've done the Solar Edge Storage, and there's been a lot of them, but all of them have had kind of their issues, and some of them we've seen a few failures, which that's the last thing we want to see as a solar installer, is get a call from somebody, my power's out, please come now. Not something we want to have to deal with. So haven't ever had to deal with that for here. A couple other things are the surge capability of these inverters. These inverters have it's 6,000 watt output each, but they have a really high surge capability. So if you're powering things like motors or other loads like your AC that has a really high spike and then it kind of settles down, these inverters can handle it. A lot of those other inverters can't do it. Just in one example, we had one client who installed the Solar Edge storage with the LG Chem lithium ion battery pack, and he had a well pump that was on the critical load circuit, and that well pump was really deep under the ground, and it was only supposed to pull like 2,000 watts, but when the well pump turns on, they surge, and we had done the math and we thought no more than 5,000 watts. And sure enough, it went up to 7,000 watts, and the storage had like it had a surge capability of 7,000 watts, but it must have peaked at just a few watts over it for just a few milliseconds, and the whole thing turned off. Boom, shut down, error code, and things not working. It just shuts the whole system down. So not something you want at all. So in another example, we had an LG Chem battery fail. And that's the newest, latest, and greatest technology, lithium-ion battery pack. And it just took a long time to get a new battery to the client. So again, what we want is reliability, and especially when it's something that's off-grid, it needs to work. So one of the reasons that this is easier is because it's kind of a little bit less technology. A little bit less technology can be better. So the batteries here, which you already saw, are these are AGM batteries, but there's no electronics in it. It's just a regular battery, okay? So there's a positive and negative, and there's the energy goes in and energy comes out. So there's no electronics on it. The other thing that's really neat about these systems is these are entirely stackable. So you can have, in this case, we got one string of batteries, and this is 40 kilowatt hours of storage total. But you could have a second string, or you could have a different battery stack of 2-volt batteries. So you could have 40 kilowatt hours, or 60, or 80, or 120 if you wanted to. Obviously the price goes up and you got a really large battery system, but it is stackable and you don't need extra, equipment to do something like that. The Sunny Island inverters are also stackable, up to 20 kilowatts, which you would never need more than that anyways. So you could do 2, you could do 1, you could do 2, you could do 3 for a 3-phase system, and you could do 4 for, and I think it's actually stackable for even more than that. So they're entirely able to take on different configurations and do larger loads depending on what you need. For a residential client, this is great. We've actually got one coming up where there's 4 Sunny Island inverters. So that's a 4 stacker. That's going to be really cool. And that's also going to be the 2-volt batteries. So just a little bit there on these systems. Trying to think about anything else. So, on YouTube you see so many kind of people doing solar installations, and it's almost like what not to do on YouTube, right? You see a lot of that. So I just wanted people to kind of see what we like. I'm not saying that my opinion is correct, by any stretch of the imaginations. You do your own research, but kind of the newer products that are coming out, they've been building them as cheap as possible, and people have been affected by the tariffs a lot, so there's a lot of pressure to bring the price down, but that also brings the quality down. There's a lot of pressure to make them smarter and more automated, but that creates more, it's more of a computer, more technology, more relays everywhere, and it's more things that can fail. Okay, so that's kind of the thing. So for a battery system, you want it to work, you don't want it to fail. Like I said, we have several of these in the field, never failed. I've done several inverters, different battery inverters. So the Magnum, the Outback, the LG Chem. I'm a huge fan of Tesla and Elon Musk and all that stuff. I really want to see them succeed, but this is the kind of battery that I have on my home. A little bit there. You do your own research and think about what you want. But in terms of the specs, like I said, I really like this in comparison to the other things out there. So surge capability, reliability, stackability, all really good for anybody who wants to go off grid. So if you want power when the grid goes down, your choices are to have a generator or to get solar with battery backup. Generators are, number one, pretty noisy if you ever use them. Noisy, loud, smelly with exhaust of some sort of a fuel. You need fuel, and that fuel usually runs out pretty quick. And usually if there is some sort of a natural disaster, fuel is in short supply, it's gone pretty quick. So something to consider there. Generator is less expensive, but it's got quite a few drawbacks. They also need to be maintained regularly. They have a little battery, and they're not meant to run continuously. There are very few generators that are meant to run continuously. If you get any kind of standard generator, it's usually supposed to be run for a day at most, or less than a day, maybe 2 days. They're not meant to run all the time. So solar with battery backup runs all the time, night and day. It's essentially got a limitless power supply with the sun, right? If it's sized correctly, the solar energy from the sun will power all the loads and then fill up the battery every day. At nighttime, you'll drain the battery a little bit. Even on cloudy days, you drain the battery a little bit more. But on a sunny day, if you sized it correctly, the solar energy will come through, fill up the whole battery and power all the loads that you need. So solar with battery backups are very reliable and totally quiet. And you never have to worry about fuel or anything like that. So it's working right now, no noise, and run entirely on solar energy. So here we are outside. These are the solar inverters. So these are the inverters that change the energy from DC to AC, which is usable into your house. This is the SMA 6.0 Eagle inverter. I guess that's the new name of it. This is 6,000 watts output, and there's two of them. So here's what it looks like, and with the cover off, here's what it looks like here too. So you can see it's like I said, it's pretty simple. So the DC wires come in, land on the terminals, ground wires, and then the AC power is coming out, goes to a disconnect, then goes into the critical loads panel. So not too fancy, not too many things that can go wrong, a very reliable product, and they work well. All right, so that's it. We're just about done with this installation, but when it is done, this will all be closed out, and it'll be a nice framed wall boarded up there. And we'll send you a video so you can see the finished product, okay?